welcoming you to Operation Success. How does a man become a success under our system of free enterprise? Is there a basic pattern to follow, a set of rules, a guidepost to success? I don't think so. Some of our guests started out in meager circumstances, some with silver spoons in their mouths. Some made their marks early in life, some quite late. Some never graduated from elementary school. Others were brilliant scholars with many degrees. These people did not conform to any pattern, but they all had one bond in common: success.
Of all the elements that have shaped our Earth, water has been the most persistent and unrelenting. In fact, our planet has the wrong name. Our ancestors named it Earth after the soil they found around them. They knew of seas, of course, but they thought of the Atlantic, for example, as a river running around the rim of the Earth. If the ancients had known what our planet was really like, they would have named it Oceanus, for the tremendous areas of water that cover over 70% of its surface. The matchless phenomenon of the sea is not only the source of all life on this Earth, but still provides a home for the greatest number of its creatures, including countless species of fish. Heading the list of all these fish is the prize catch of the sea, the alert, very active and graceful tuna. Species of these highly nutritious, delicately flavored fish are to be found in nearly all of the far-flung reaches of our oceans. The U.S. tuna industry began in the San Pedro Harbor, which is now the port of Los Angeles, right after the turn of the century. 50 years ago, the Van Camp Seafood Company began packing tuna at the location seen here. People like these fostered an industry whose products are enjoyed by countless millions in nearly every country of the world. Today, this company, whose brand names include Chicken of the Sea, is headquartered in this ultra-modern building in Long Beach, California. This is the nerve center of an operation that includes literally every continent and millions of square miles of ocean. Our story really begins on a tuna clipper, an all-weather, rugged, speedy fishing vessel capable of roaming the high seas for months on end in search of the wily tuna, one of nature's rare delicacies. Each boat is a seagoing, refrigerated storehouse, capable of quick freezing the freshness of tuna at the moment of catch. Here, the hold of a Chicken of the Sea tuna clipper is being sterilized in preparation for frozen storage of up to 1,000 tons of fresh tuna. The engines, tuned to peak efficiency, are ready to carry their crew out onto the broad Pacific, where the clipper will be their home for weeks and months to come. It is not unusual to see the wives and families of the fishermen gather on the pier for the departure. Each farewell is a real parting, for unlike the ordinary husband who goes to his job daily, these men will be gone from 2 to 3 months, sometimes longer. The skipper gives the signal and the engines fire into action, and our voyage begins. The men wave a final farewell to their loved ones as the clipper points her bow toward the breakwater and the vast reaches of the Pacific. Pole fishing, one of the major methods of catching tuna, will be the technique employed on this trip. One man is constantly aloft in the crow's nest, although there are several ways, both electronic and visual, of seeking out the fast-moving, unpredictable schools of tuna. Feeding fish break the water, causing small whitecaps. The sighting of porpoises arcing out of the water can mean the presence of tuna, for they may be preying on small fish frightened to the surface by our quarry. But does their presence mean we have found tuna? Yes, the search has ended and the crew springs into action. The chummer goes to work, throwing out live bait, and hooks go over the side. Tuna, called by Zane Grey the tiger of the sea, have voracious appetites. In their frenzy for food, they will strike at anything. On they come, and with each flash of a pole, 20, 30, and up to 150 pounds of tuna hit the deck. The bigger ones can be lifted on board only by 2 and sometimes 3 poles attached to one hook. Chicken of the Sea is constantly pioneering new fishing methods to compete more effectively with this speedy and elusive fish, and was a leader in adapting purse seining to tuna fishing. Seining means netting, and the word purse is used because the bottoms of these nets can be closed by a purse string, much like that on a woman's purse. Here on this purse seiner, the lookout has sighted whitecaps, and all hands are alerted. Could it be the wind or schools of other fish? It could be, but isn't. It's tuna, and this looks like a really big school. Now it's up to the skipper. He must determine their direction and speed and move alongside without alarming the fish. The time is now, and over goes a skiff to which is attached one end of the net. From here on, it's a race against time. The seiner must circle the school, laying the net, and close back on the skiff. Floats keep the top of the net from sinking. As it is played out, it hangs like a curtain in the water. Authoritative estimates place the speed of tuna at 25 to 45 miles per hour. In addition, they have the ability to change depths with great suddenness. Bottom fish will explode if brought up too rapidly, whereas tuna can swim straight up or straight down to great depths without harm from pressure changes. This net is 1/2 mile long and costs $50,000. It reaches 40 fathoms, or nearly 250 feet down into the sea. The race of setting the net around an area equal to several football fields is drawing to a close. As the seiner and skiff meet bow on, the circle is completed. Now the only way out is straight down, and this avenue of escape must be quickly closed. Once both ends of the net are attached to the clipper, the seiner skiff must cut free. Power winches and pulleys join to haul in the purse line, which run through slip rings along the bottom of the net. Drawn through the rings, the purse line slowly pulls the bottom of the net to a close. A broken cable now could mean losing the entire catch. At last, the purse rings break the surface, and the enclosure is complete. Here they are, elusive, colorful tuna, seen in their natural underwater home, but inside our net. Now the net must be drawn in, and herein lies the science of purse seining. For these enormous nylon nets, weighing many tons, are most efficiently managed because of the specialized winches and power blocks that handle floats and chains along with the net. Now all but 40 feet of the net is in, and the question that everyone has been wondering can be answered. We have a bonus catch of tuna, and a few other creatures of the sea as well. Keep your eye on the man swinging this huge manta ray overboard. All in the day's work of a tuna fisherman. Now for the job of scooping the tuna out of the net. This is called brailing. Quality control of the catch begins as the fish leave the water. They are immediately frozen to ensure their freshness. Into the quick freezing compartments they go, the first step in a process designed to bring more delicious tuna to your table, faster and more efficiently than ever before. Chicken of the Sea's unique long-range tuna hunt around the globe has been underway since 1953, when a packing facility was established in American Samoa. Step by step, the program has been expanded to global proportions in order to assure a plentiful supply of fresh tuna. Cold storage and production facilities have been added in many other areas to help meet the rapid increase in worldwide demand. New fishing grounds are now supplying tuna to Chicken of the Sea's installations in the South Pacific, Puerto Rico, and off the west coasts of South America and Africa. Home is the fisherman home from the sea, where his catch is quickly unloaded, weighed, thawed, and cleaned. These are the first of many steps in processing and preparing the tuna for the family table. Tuna is now one of the most universal of basic foods. It is used in about 90% of American homes. In the single decade from 1950 to 1960, Chicken of the Sea sales increased more than 70%, and tuna is eminently qualified for a thriving future. It is one of the finest complete protein foods. Its low cost gives the consumer more protein for her money than any other food used as a mainstay of a meal. Tuna is far lower in fat than many lean meats and is exceptionally low in saturated fats. Tuna is one of nature's finest sources of the minerals iodine and fluorine. It is rich in phosphorus, vitamins A and D, and the important B vitamin niacin. It is one of the few natural foods that supplies important amounts of vitamin B12. And with all its nutritional endowments, tuna is as delicious, tender, and delicate in flavor as the costliest seafood one can buy. Having been graded by size and weight, the tuna is being pressure baked in these giant ovens for the exact period of time required. The fish is allowed to cool before this filleting process, in which each tuna is handled individually. Only the prime fillet or center cut is selected for Chicken of the Sea. For example, a fish weighing a total of 20 pounds will provide 6 to 7 pounds of prime tuna, enough to fill only 16 of the usual 6 1/2 ounce cans. These plants range in size up to several 100,000 square feet of floor area and have a daily output capacity of 15 to 18,000 cases. While the tuna is moving down the line, cases of containers are being readied on the floor above. Shining new cans, like miniature armored soldiers, are transported into runways that lead them to the processed tuna. The cans are thoroughly sterilized before they are filled. Electronic check weighers assure that each can is filled with the precise amount of tuna. Cans are selected at random from every conceivable point in the production line and tested to assure the consumer of the very highest quality. Here, a can of solid pack Chicken of the Sea is being inspected for quality and uniformity. Another weight test is performed on the sealed can after being tested for vacuum. Skilled technicians see to it that the highest standards of quality, sanitation, accurate labeling, and many other aspects of production are maintained on a minute-by-minute basis. In most instances, Chicken of the Sea has set up even higher standards of quality control than required by the various local, state, and federal agencies. Salt and pure vegetable oil are added to the tuna-filled cans as one of the last steps of this smooth-running, efficient production line. Chicken of the Sea is proud of their many contributions to the tuna industry through the introduction of the light meat tuna pack, high-speed packing machinery, more efficient methods of distribution, and consistent national advertising. The company was able to reduce the price of canned tuna to Mrs. Consumer. These things, especially the introduction of the light meat style pack, brought delicious tuna within the economic reach of all. Today, chunk light tuna is the nation's favorite style of tuna. The cans are now ready to be fitted with lids, forming a permanent, airtight seal. While the nutritional qualities of tuna is unmatched in its price range as a main course food, its popularity is greatly enhanced by the flavor sealed in by the processes you have been watching. The tuna, having been quickly processed, remains as sweet in the can as when first caught. And here is the last step of production. Each morsel of tuna is pressure baked and sterilized to meet rigid Chicken of the Sea standards. Baskets are rolled into giant retorts where the tuna, can and all, is heated at the precise temperature and for the time period prescribed for each can size. This one bank of retorts alone is capable of pressure cooking 250,000 cans at one time. After being cooled in these metal baskets, the cans are given still another inspection for weight and for proper vacuum. More spot checks are made of the tuna itself. After all cans have passed final inspection, they travel to the unscrambler, which in turn feeds them onto an elevator. Then they are gravity fed into a labeling machine, which sends them to the packing cases at rates up to 900 cans per minute. This is the end of the line, but only in the packing plant. For now, the tuna, delicious chunk style or solid pack, is ready to be shipped by case or carload to markets around the world. The increasing demand for tuna over the last 50 years has outpaced everything but Van Camp's ability to meet the challenge. The rapid growth from a little-known delicacy called tunny in 1914 to the most popular canned seafood in America today is the success of the Van Camp Seafood Company and Chicken of the Sea tuna. Catching enough tuna to meet this demand has been only one of the company's problems. Getting the tuna onto the grocer's shelves has been another. Seeing that Chicken of the Sea, in all the various sizes and style packs, is available to every homemaker in America, is the continuing responsibility of the company's more than 80 food brokers and grocers from coast to coast. To a very great extent, they are responsible for the growth in popularity of tuna and have helped make Chicken of the Sea today's sales leader. Behind these great quantities of tuna being readied for worldwide distribution are the unending efforts of fishermen on the high seas, the skill of packers, and the unrelenting research and development of the Van Camp laboratories. But perhaps most of all, there is foresight. These tremendous quantities of unmatched nutrition packed under rigid scientific control are the direct result of the foresight of the Van Camps, who as far back as the Civil War were engaged in the production of pork and beans and other food products. In 1914, Frank Van Camp sold his holdings in the Midwest and moved to California, where he began packing tuna. His forward thinking carried the company through such trials as the disappearance of the albacore variety of tuna from local California waters. By adapting to the yellowfin, bluefin, and skipjack species, the industry was saved from what might have been disaster. Here at the Van Camp Seafood Company laboratories on Terminal Island, California, painstaking research and development ensure the consumer of the finest canned tuna in the world. Many of the quality control procedures that have revolutionized the tuna industry began as ideas in these laboratories. Besides basic research and new product development, the Van Camp laboratories maintain a continuing vigilance over the day-to-day production of chicken of the sea tuna, guaranteeing consistent quality to the consumer. In no segment of the U.S. food industry is a higher standard of quality and sanitation to be found. Teamwork of manufacturers, suppliers, seamen, and scientists is the formula that finally delivers the chicken of the sea tuna to the grocer. One important result is that the U.S. canned tuna pack is now by far the largest in the world. In human terms, the benefits in the form of improved diet, convenient homemaking, and sheer pleasure are immeasurable. This is the World Headquarters building at the port of Long Beach, California. This beautiful collage depicts some of the fishing boats of the Van Camp fleet. It is apt that these vessels be given recognition here in the center of this worldwide enterprise, for it is their significant role that added much toward placing the U.S. tuna industry in its present position of worldwide leadership. In these offices rests the responsibility for control and coordination of activities that span the globe. Electronic data processing equipment serves as the nerve center that monitors all phases of production and distribution throughout the world. This is the brain of UNIVAC 90 that programs and controls the components of the equipment. Vital data, such as analysis of supply and demand of tuna, is constantly at the fingertips of company executives. Here is a comparison of the great increase in the popularity of tuna over other entree items, such as chicken and beef. Here, the sales growth of tuna is shown to be far outpacing grocery and canned goods. This chart shows an actual decrease in the consumer price of tuna during the last decade. "50 years of tuna fishing and packing is being discussed here by the leaders of the company. Gilbert C. Van Camp, Jr., President. Glenn Copeland, Executive Vice President. And Gilbert C. Van Camp, Sr., Chairman of the Board. The 50th anniversary and the years behind it have seen the expansion to worldwide tuna harvesting and distribution, and unprecedented increase in consumption of chicken of the sea canned tuna, coupled with a decrease in consumer prices. Plans for the future are also covered in such meetings. The upcoming construction of this new wing to the headquarters building will provide space for the continuing increase of personnel and a new electronic data processing center. And here is the prize of the fishermen, delicious chicken of the sea tuna, ready for you to enjoy and ready to become the most versatile performer in the kitchen. Which will it be? Chunk style or solid pack? Which will it be? Grocery shelves across the country stock these delights from the sea in complete variety. It is yours but to choose. The Little Mermaid on the label is always there to help you decide. She can be your guide to an endless variety of tempting dishes packed with flavor and nutrition. One of America's favorite tuna dishes is this salad. Zesty tuna combined with lettuce and spinach, or with carrots and beets. Another is the tomato surprise. stuffed with tidbits of tuna and celery or green peppers. Some of the many other tempting ways to prepare tuna, including casseroles, canapes, sandwiches, and tuna burgers, attest to a success story that was 50 years in the making and will continue to set the pace for the future. The operation success of this company is based on foresight in the best American tradition. The company has not only survived adversity, but has prospered from it and has put the U.S. tuna industry in a position of unquestioned leadership. A willingness to invest in the future through the development of economies in fishing, canning, and marketing, and the unrelenting adherence to self-imposed standards of quality control are ingredients that the firm's far-sighted management has utilized to bring more of the finer things to more people at lower prices. Operation Success salutes Van Camp Seafood Company for the betterment it has brought to mankind.